Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Prediction Sports. Let go, show recaps prediction sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Prediction Sports. Let go.
What's going on, everybody? It's the EVP from the EVP Show. I'm live with your Big Brother Season 28 Week 6 Recap Show. I do apologize that I am late. I was running a little bit behind. About an hour late. What a crazy week. What a crazy week this week was. I was watching the show at a restaurant, trying to write everything down, and then I got back. Just got back so that I could get this train going. But yeah, wild week. The craziest week, yeah, so far, for sure. Just 1 second, guys. I am retweeting all this. I'm live. So, like I said, this was a crazy week. They haven't started the HOH yet for week 7, but man, what a crazy week this week was. Gonna just go ahead and dive right on into it. Kind of pick up where we left off last week. We've seen a big power shift over the last 2 episodes, the last 2 weeks, with Lala winning the wall comp, and then obviously Yash took the HOH this week. So we definitely seen a big power shift. The big alliance that started the game, basically running the game, is basically so. But I titled this week a new era. There's so much to go into on what happened, so it's going to kind of pick up from the end of last week. Obviously, we saw Chuck was evicted. He became the 5th evicted house guest last week. He joined Ashley, and Rome, and Lyric, and Jason as the 5th person evicted last week. So as I said, the tour show alliance is basically no more after last week. Combo won the veto last week with Chuck and Haley on the block and did not use the veto. So the lines were definitely drawn in the sand. So let's get into it. So this is the Big Brothers Season 28 Week 6 Recap Show. This is got 12 parts, so a lot of stuff to unpack. But I titled part 1, a new era begins. So week 6 began following the eviction of Chuck from the previous week, and one thing was clear: the game had entered a completely different phase. The balance of power has shifted dramatically over the last 2 weeks, and the icons of Angela, Dee, and Devin were no longer in control. After a series of blindsides, shift in loyalty, and strategic moves, the house was more divided than ever. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, 3 of the season's biggest alliances have officially crumbled going into week 6, and that is the Red Corner Alliance, the Tool Chads, and the Wolfpack. There were some new alliances that were made this week, and we'll kind of go over those as well. But those 3 alliances are basically dead. They were blown up over the last 2 weeks. So the people that have the power to start the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season don't have the power right now. So as those alliances collapse, new groups quickly emerge to fill the vacuum. So talk about some of the new alliances that were formed. There's an alliance called the Primary Alliance, which it's got Rick Devens from the Icons, Yash, Taylor, and Kame. And then the Bermuda Triangle that was actually made final three with Rick Devens, Josh, and Kame as well. So that's 5 alliances that Rick Devens and Kame were a part of. But the focal point of this week for me personally was the FAP, or the American People Alliance, that was made. So obviously Drew, Barrett, Melody, and Mallory. They had the most screen time. Even on the feeds this week, they definitely were the most featured. And they also played the biggest impact on the votes this week and who went home. So definitely an alliance to watch out for. After watching what was going on the feed before I went live, it kind of looked like that alliance was a little shaky as well right now. So meanwhile, Kame and Yash solidified a final 2 deal during this week. Definitely the 2 biggest, outside of Haley, probably the 2 biggest competitors in the game. So also Haley remained one of the biggest targets, particularly in the eyes of Drew and Melody, while the fallout from the previous week's fight continued to ripple through the game. The old alliance is gone, new ones forming, trust becoming harder to find. Everyone knew next HOH competition could determine the direction of the season. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Who is going to grab power and become the new head of household in week number 6? So all the house guests gathered around the set at the table. Obviously, this is the back of time, Big Brother. I call it the time machine. So they are going back to December 31st, 1999. I'm getting ready to kick off the year 2000. This is going to be the head of the week 6 head of household competition. The name of this competition is called Bugs in the System. So basically, how this is going to work is 2 people are going to start off the competition, and they're going to be shown 3 different screens, A, B, and C, with a bunch of bugs, and they have to quickly pick out the one that has the most bugs in it. This is played in a knockout format. The winner of each matchup will select the next 2 competitors, creating a strategic battle where every decision matters. So the first round that was done, we drawn at random before the competition started. Yash was going 1-on-1 with Kame. So Yash defeated Kame in the first round. He buzzed in first and got the answer correct. If you guessed incorrectly, then you also would lose, giving your opponent advancing on in the HOH competition. So Yash defeated Kame. So if once you win your first round, you select the next 2 people to go. Yash selected Melody and Angela to compete next. So Yash advanced on to the next round. So now we have Melody going 1-on-1 with Angela. Melody defeated Angela. They both kind of took a while to make their guess, but Melody moves on to the next round. So Melody selected Haley and Taylor as her first round matchup, and Taylor defeated Haley. So Melody, Taylor, and Yash, all that's working on the other side of that house, have all advanced on to the next round. So Taylor selected Drew and Rick Devens. So we have one of the icons going up for his first round matchup. Rick Devens, or Drew, buzzed in, but he guessed incorrectly. And Rick, what's going on, Sean? Street saying Big Brother is dead as a show. Heard Jay Boogie saying that. It's all Instagram model. Try not to be the bad guy to boost their IG following. I wouldn't say that. I think that there's a lot of speculation this season because of the Survivor people are playing, but I don't know about that. But I definitely I think I have reached out to you in a message. Let you and Stampede see when you and Stampede we're gonna square up on the fantasy football entry. Obviously, we're getting close to the draft, and I believe you two are the last two that you pay your entry. So whenever you guys can, just reach out and let me know. I do have to randomize the draft in that league, so but yeah, I don't think it's dead. I mean, it's very it's different than it was 10 years ago, though, for sure. Attention drives and the plot thickens. It does. I was watching. I went live about an hour later, trying to get back for dinner. But crazy week. Next week when you get paid, all right, that works. I try reaching out to Stampede, but I don't know if he saw my message. Maybe you could reach out to him, let him know, or see what's up. I know you guys are good for it or whatever. I just need to know, so. That way I can try to tomorrow. I can try to do the randomized order or whatever. I just need, haven't heard. I don't know. I think you replied to my message, but I don't think he has. So it has been a very controversial season for sure, especially on Twitter. Seeing some of the most intense fans of the show saying it sucked and hasn't been good in a while. I mean, it's definitely not the same show that it was 10 years ago. It just, some of the stuff that they do seems very questionable. Obviously, bringing in another game into the Big Brother house, especially, I don't know. For me, I don't see anything wrong with it because they're coming into the game as a big target. So, especially Dee, because she's won Survivor. She's already won $1 million. So if you let those people hang around in the game, that's your own fault, basically. So they do talk about that all the time. They're basically didn't think they would even get in the game this long. So they're still hanging around. So you definitely don't want people that have that experience. Obviously, she was on the challenge as well to still be hanging around in the game. It's definitely different, though. 100%. So Rick Devens defeated Drew in the first round. So we'll go to the next matchup, which I didn't really understand their philosophy on this with Devens and Dee. Obviously, Dee regretted it later on. But in a knockout competition, you definitely don't want to be picking your allies when it's only a few of you guys left. I think it's time for All-Star. I agree. This season just seems that we'll see. The Icons haven't really had power the last 2 weeks, so they had a chance to take a shot at them. And we'll talk about that, but I try to get back into it, just haven't been able to get into it all. It feels like a completely different. It is different. It is different. If you don't really have the time to watch the feeds and stuff, most of the time I have them on in my headphones or something like that, or in my earbuds or something. So most of the time I'm just listening to it. Maybe when I'm just at work or when I'm busy or whatever, I'm just listening to it. So I usually have a grasp of what's going on with it most of the time. So, but it's definitely different. It is 100%. So I don't know what your strategy was. Obviously, they're coming from Survivor, so they're playing these comps. They really don't know what they're doing. But Devin selected his ally, which is Dee, to go up against Taylor in the first round matchup. But Dee ended up defeating Taylor. So at this point, there's only 5 or 6 of you left. Didn't understand Dee's philosophy. I was watching the HOH comp back. Why she would pick Devins again. You don't pick people that you're aligned with, especially when there's only 2 of you left that can win power. So, but she did. She picked Devins and Melody. Melody defeated Rick Devins. Then Melody selected D and Yash, which was she put two strong people together, and Yash defeated D. So then we move on to the next round. Yash selected Barrett and Mallard up next. Barrett defeated Mallard, so Barrett moves on. At that point, once Barrett defeated Mallard, it's only three people left with Barrett, Yash, and Melody. All from, well, Barrett's kind of with the icons, but Yash and Melody have been on the other side of the house most of the game. But in round 9, Yash defeated Melody, which brought us to the final round between Yash and Barrett again. You think we'll ever get that other a-hole like Edie, Paul, Cody, Boogie, Will? Is that a thing of the past, in your opinion? I mean, a lot of them are going to be back on the show next Thursday for the 1000th episode. But as far as like getting back into the house, anything's possible. I do think they're gonna have an all-star season soon. I mean, I don't know about Dr. Will or Mike Boogie. I don't know if they're gonna play again, but it's possible. I don't know. Cody, he played a couple of seasons. I think it was 16 and 20. So I don't know if he would play again. Paul's kind of played 2 seasons as well. I don't know. Janelle played a lot of seasons. Rachel Raleigh played quite a few. I went back and watched season 15 or 16 with McCray and Amanda. That was pretty good. And, like the villainess players. Okay, I got you. Do you think double eviction happened after first jury guest or after? I don't know. I thought it was going to happen next week, but she didn't say anything about it. So it looks like it may happen. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to have a 7-person jury or 9-person jury. We'll see. At least I thought next Thursday for sure was going to be double eviction for the 1000th episode, but she didn't say anything about it. So hopefully in the next week or two, for sure, it's coming. It's definitely coming. Right before, I feel like it's gonna be right before jury. So yeah, this season doesn't really have that villainous player. There's a lot of speculation going online about it, but people like to talk on Twitter. So we got to the final round. It's gonna be Yash against Barrett. After surviving multiple knockout rounds, Yash defeated Barrett to become the new head of household. What will he do? Who will he nominate? We'll talk about it. This HOH was definitely influenced by Common. Common played a big role in this HOH, but ultimately we'll figure out if it worked or if it didn't work and what happened. Yash's victory couldn't have come at a bigger moment with the house divided and the balance of power shifting away from the icons. His HOH gave him the opportunity to shape the direction of the game and set the tone for one of the most memorable weeks of the season. So we'll move on. I got 12 parts. We'll move on to part number 3. So Yash is the HOH. He's already won a blockbuster. So Yash is now got an HOH, 2 comp wins. So part 3, the BB Time Capsule returns. Yash makes his first move. I see all the Texans are gone. They are gone. Yeah. So part 3, the BB Time Capsule returns, and Yash makes his first move. Fresh off his head of household victory, Yash wasted no time settling into power. But before he could make nominations, the House turned its attention to the BB Time Capsule. So you can vote. You can go right now to vote. You can only win at one time, so you can go right now on bigbrother.com/vote. I don't know what the website is, honestly. I don't vote. So, but this week is the last week that somebody can win in power. So, that will happen this coming Sunday. So, there will be no more BB Time Capsule. We'll talk about who won it on the week 7 recap. But after that, there will be no more BB Time Capsule. But let's talk about the BB Time Capsule for this week. America voted for Melody. She went in there, she hit the button, you go. She did the thing, same thing Mallory did the week before. Had a way better chance of getting the power this week. Obviously there were 2 powers gone, 2 punishments, and Melody hit the button and she landed on a punishment. And she is the Lord of the Latrine for 24 hours. I don't know if you guys watched that season, but it is definitely one of the most. I would not want to do it. So basically, she has to dress up in the Lord of the Latrine costume, and she has the key to the restroom. So every time that somebody wants, no matter what time it is, the bathroom stays locked. She has the key. She has to blow this trumpet or horn. It's really, really loud, and she has to be really, really loud announcing that so and so is going into the restroom. So, a 24-hour punishment. She definitely, just based on what I've seen on the feeds, it was definitely annoying for a lot of house guests. So Melody and Mallory, ironically, both flopped the time capsule. What are the odds? Yeah, that's crazy. I think it's gonna be Drew or Taylor that get it this week. Or I don't know. I think last time I looked, Drew was in the lead, but Kamu was second. So we'll see. If Drew gets a power, then you know that ultimately, depending on who wins HOH, it's gonna be a power for the icon. So Drew is definitely kind of drawing his line in the sand. Looks like from tonight. So it's up to Barrett and Drew. Yeah, I think Drew wins unless Taylor makes a late push in the next 2 days. So we'll see. So 24 hours, Melody is the Lord of the Latrine, but she has to blow the horn whenever the house guest uses the restroom. She has to unlock it. She has to loudly announce every bathroom visit as well. She has to unlock it for every house guest. First punishment. At first, the punishment amused everyone, but as the day went on, the constant interruptions wore on the house. By the end of 24 hours, many of the players were ready for the commotion to end. Meanwhile, another house guest had mixed emotions. Haley was very disappointed that she wasn't picked for the power. She said she's had some terrible weeks, and she feels like she's playing an unequal game. So she doesn't understand why America doesn't like her, I guess. Haley admitted she was disappointed that she hadn't been chosen by America for the BB Time Capsule. Even though Melody received a punishment instead of a power, Haley felt left out after learning she hadn't won the public vote. So going into this week, Kamu immediately went to Yash, told Yash about. So I kind of talked about this last week. D telling Kamu about her BB Bride power. So Yash went up. Kamu went up to the HOH. Obviously, Taylor and Lala, they're all working with Kamu and Yash. Drew and Barrett are kind of the middlemen. They kind of go up there and act like they're with them, but then they go report back to tell the icons everything that's going on. So Drew is kind of playing the Andy type game, in my opinion. So when you win HOH, you're gonna be up all night because everybody's gonna come in and want to meet with you. Like I said, Kamu goes up there and he's pushing hard for the 2 of the icons to go up, especially D. So they're really centering D out as the target. She's one survivor, and obviously she told a couple of lies. So they're definitely Kamu is definitely pushing hard for D to be nominated and the target this week. But D definitely felt the vibe that something was going on. So as Josh was preparing to make his nomination, D went up to the HOH room. She made a bold strategic play. First, she offered Josh $5,000 through her power of the BB Bride if he would keep her and Angela both off the block. So Yash asked her who she would nominate, and he said Haley, and she said Haley and Drew. She was kind of reluctant to give any name. So she offered him the $5,000 to keep her and Angela off the block. He declined. So D made a second offer, asking him to just keep her off the block. and Yash also declined that as well. So he didn't want the $5,000. He wanted to stay loyal to his allies. Maybe he didn't need the $5,000. I don't know. It's tough to pass up 5,000 to keep somebody off the block for a week before jury. So, but Yash declined both offers, making it clear that the money would not influence his head of household nomination. So, with the bribe rejected, we go to the nomination ceremony. It's Josh's responsibility to nominate 3 house guests for eviction. This season is the second or third season, I believe, of the Blockbuster. So you have to put 3 people on the block. So it makes it, you have to be way more strategic with your nominations, but they are targeting icons. So we go to the HOH nomination ceremony to find out who the 3 house guests that Yash was going to nominate for eviction this week. No surprise with the nominations. Yash nominated Haley, Dee, and Angela for eviction. So 2 of the icons are sitting on the block. Kamu and outside the house think that they're sitting pretty. But that is his nominations. Yash was a fool not to take the bribe. Got played just like Haley. He did. I don't know. They all just act like they don't. They're going. A lot of them are just putting back and forth. It's wild. Interesting to see who gets power tonight. To see how the house is going to shape up for next week. But there's definitely some people that I feel like they are not using their brain. So, Josh nominated Hey Dealey and Angela for eviction. First time that Dee and Angela have been on the nomination block this season. The nominations immediately sparked strategy talk throughout the house with players scrambling to influence the week before the power veto competition. So we'll move on to week 4 with Haley, Dee, and Angela on the chopping block. So the lines are drawn with Haley, Dee, and Angela officially on the block. The game shifted into high gear as alliances, long-term plans, and competing agendas collided before the power of veto. As I talked about a lot in detail, Kamu pushed for Dee. From the moment nominations run out, Kamu made his mission clear. He campaigned relentlessly for Dee to be the primary target, arguing that she had lied to house guests, tried to throw him under the bus, helped create confusion surrounding previous vote flips. Kamu repeatedly told Yash and others that Dee could be trusted and that this was the perfect opportunity to weaken the icon by taking Dee out. But as we talked about on week 2, Dee does have the BB bribe power, but her number 1, her biggest ally in the game is Rick Devens, and he has the strongest power in the game so far, which is the diamond power veto. Rick has other plans. We'll see what happens. Kamu was campaigning against Dee to Rick Devens. Obviously, Rick Devens had an alliance with Josh and Kamu and Taylor as well. So Kamu was pushing that agenda really hard on Dee to Devens. So while Kamu was campaigning against Dee, Devens was probably working on a completely different strategy. Dee and Devens came into this game former Survivor players, number 1 allies. He wasn't willing to lose her without a fight. His ideal outcome going into this was for Dee to win the power veto himself, so that they could save this power for it. Was still good for 2 weeks. So, but if she couldn't, Devin was prepared to make one of the boldest moves of the season. If he got the chance to use the diamond power veto, he planned to remove Dee from the block and possibly nominate Kamu in her place, completely flipping the house upside down and on its head. New alliances emerged. As old alliance continued to fade away, new group took shape. Primary alliance, like I said, is Devin, Josh, and Kamu. The Bermuda Triangle is Devin, Josh, and Kamu. The FAP, the For the American People, Barrett, Mallory. We'll talk about the alliance that was made post veto, and it was called the Mosh Pit. It was made by was before the veto ceremony. Obviously, Rick Devens, D, Angela, Drew, Barrett, Melody, and Mallory. Rick Devens also made a plan if he's going to use the Diamond Power veto to take D off the block. He wanted to get a solidified numbers going into what could be the biggest strategic move of the season so far. Devens eventually demonstrated the powerful voting block that can control the game moving forward. The final two is made. Another important relationship also came to light. Kamala and Yash confirmed that they had a final two agreement strengthened one of the closest strategic partnerships of the House. The House divided alliances overlapping, and Devens quietly preparing a potential game-changing move. Everything was set for one of the most important power veto competitions of the season. So we'll move on to part 5. We will pick players for the veto and the power veto. So this week's power veto is one of the most famous competitions in the Big Brother house. That is OTEV. OTEV, the belligerent B movie blob. A lot went down during this competition as well. D is definitely flopping. She was really good on Survivor Comp, but she sucks. This on Big Brother. So attention to an all-time high. The House Scouts returned to the time machine for the power veto competition. This week's destination was September 26, 1950. They will compete in one of Big Brother's most legendary competitions, the OTEV Belligerent B-Movie Blob. This competition was hosted by Mallory. The veto players were Yash, Haley, D, Angela, Melody, and Barrett. So Yash, Haley, D, Angela, Melody, and Barrett will all be competing in the OTEV competition. So if you know the Big Brother, you don't know how OTEV works. Basically, it's like some sort of globby doll or something. It's going to give you some sort of riddle or a question, and you have to. For this particular one, it's like an actor. So you're looking for the still shots of the house guests and all of this water and glob and mud and all this. But it's one of the most iconic comps in Big Brother. So the way it works is the guy up top will give out who they're looking for. There's like to start off with 6 stomps up there. As each round goes on, one of the stumps moves away until there's only one stump left, and you're the last person to get up there you have to solidify the correct answer as well, which we saw in round 2 that 2 people got up there in time, but they had the wrong answer. So they were both eliminated. So this is definitely one that I've seen this comp for years and years on Big Brother. They just use a different character, different setting, but same rules apply. This is definitely one of the most legendary, iconic comps in Big Brother history. So again, we have Yash, the HOH, the nominees, Haley, D, and Angela. Melody was selected for the veto. Yash picked the veto players, and also Barrett, which Barrett has finished second in the last 2 competitions, and I believe in the HOH WrestleGasm, Barrett finished second as well. So I believe Barrett would have, if he would have won, he would have used the power veto to take D off. So that would have changed this whole week, probably, honestly. So much on the line, every round mattered. So this is elimination order. So the B-Movie Blob gives the first person that they're looking for, and Angela was the last person to come back. She was eliminated first from the competition. So that is one of the icons, not the target, but she could be one of the targets. We'll see. She was the first player eliminated. So that left D, Haley, Barrett, Melody, and Yash left. So round 2. So what I'm talking about, Haley was the last one to get up to the podium, but her and Dee both had the wrong person on the B movie blog asked for. So in round 2, Dee and Haley were both eliminated. So that is both Icons and Yash and Kamu's target. Dee has been eliminated, which Devin really was frustrated about Dee not being able to pull through and win this comp. All 3 of the nominees out of the competition, none of them could save themselves. So after the second round, all 3 of Yash's nominations were out of the veto. Round 3, Melody was eliminated, which left the final showdown between Yash and Barrett. So Yash played this competition really dirty, but very strategic as well. Dee was making a pile of in the mud, like she was piling up a lot of the players on top of each other. It seemed like for Barrett. So the last round, the B movie blog asked for 2 specific headshots, and it took them a while. But Yash saw that there were 2 of one of the answers, and that was the one that Barrett was ultimately looking for. He held on to them. Both of them, so that Barrett could not find that second one. So they were already skeptical about Barrett going into this competition. Yash did not want to acted like he didn't care if he won, but he didn't want him to win. So in the final round, again, as the same as what happened in the HOH competition, Yash defeated Barrett in the final round in the HOH, which is a complete sweep of the week. Yash won the HOH, he won a Blockbuster, and now he's won one of the most famous power veto competitions in OTA. So big week for Yash, or is it? Not only has Josh already captured the head of the household, but now he added the power veto to his resume. Combined with the previous TV Blockbuster victory, Yash has now won the triple crown. All 3 major competitions this season, cementing himself, in my eyes, as the biggest competition threat left besides Comet. But while Yash celebrated, the real drama was still to come. Behind the scenes, Rick Devens continued debating whether to unleash the Diamond Power veto to save Dee, while the rest of the house had no idea just how explosive the upcoming veto ceremony was about to become. In part 6, we're going to talk about Melody completes her Lord of the Latrine punishment. Angela celebrates her birthday, which is the same day as the power veto ceremony. While sitting on the block, Rick Devens weighs the biggest decision of the season, and the stage is set for an unforgettable power of veto ceremony. We'll move on to part 6. Part 6 is the calm before the storm. Following Yash's power veto victory, the house entered one of the most strategic stretches of the season. While Yash held both the head of household and the power veto, the real question became whether Rick Devens would make a move of his own. Melody's punishment came to an end after 24 hours. Melody's Lord of the Latrine punishment officially ended. Throughout the punishment, she had to wear the Lord of the Latrine costume, blow a horn every time someone needed the restroom, unlock the bathroom door before anyone could enter, and announce each bathroom visit to the entire house. By the end of the day, the entire house was relieved that the constant interruptions finally stopped. Angela's birthday. As all of this unfolded, it was also Angela's birthday while she was on the block. Instead of enjoying a carefree celebration, Angela spent her birthday sitting on the nomination block, not sure whether she would survive the week. Rick Devens faced a huge decision. Although Yash had won the veto, Rick Devens wasn't ready to give up on saving Dee, whom he considered his #1 ally. That's just how Devens played Survivor as well. He openly considered using the Diamond Power veto to remove Dee from the block and replacing her with Comet, calling it a move that would completely change the game. Meanwhile, Dee talked to Angela in one of the rooms, and Dee kind of hinted around that everything was going to be fine. She was going to be coming off. She told Angela that. So Angela, when she figured it out, the look on her face was priceless. Dee reassured Angela that everything could still work out if Devin followed through with the plan. So I labeled this the conversation that changed everything. Then came the moment that pushed Devins even closer to making his move. Kamu told Rick Devins that D was the house's target for the power veto ceremony, which was just a terrible, but he didn't know. He never knew that Devins had the power. For Devins hearing that confirmed everything. Probably he thought to himself, and he said on the episode that Kamu just sealed his own fate. From that point on, Devins became even more determined to protect D if the opportunity presented itself. He said he wanted to save it for a rainy day, and this looked like this was going to be that rainy day. As the house gathered for the veto ceremony, no one knew whether it would be routine or whether it was about to become the biggest ceremony of the season. Kamu asked Josh if he planned to use the veto. He said absolutely not, that he was still the target. In part 7, we'll talk about everything that happened from the veto ceremony. So I titled this part 7. This veto meeting has only just begun. So this was the wildest power veto ceremony that I've seen, and since Big Brother 26, I believe, when Mackenzie did the same thing to Tucker. But the week 6 power veto ceremony delivered one of the most unforgettable moments of the season. After winning both the head of household and power veto, all eyes were on Josh as he made his decision. He gave all 3 house guests an opportunity to explain why they wanted him to use the power veto. Obviously, he was never using the veto. Both icons are still on the block, so their target did not want power veto, which is D, so they thought we're going to be able to get out one of the icons. So standing before the house, Josh announced, "I have decided not to use the power veto." But before he was able to close the box to say that this nomination ceremony is complete, everything changed. Rick Devins makes his big move. He stood up. He said, "I'm sorry to interrupt you." He said, "But this veto meeting has only just began." And all the house guests sitting down at the table on the couch was absolutely shocked. Their jaws dropped. The room felt silent. House guests immediately realized. So Rick Devins explained in his speech that he went to sleep, had a dream. Survivor gods were telling him in this dream, you have to save your #1 ally for the Survivor people. So Rick Devins said he woke up and found himself right here at the power veto ceremony. He pulled out the diamond power veto, which is the most powerful power left in the Big Brother house and the game. It's the second most powerful power in the whole game of Big Brother. Without hesitation, Devins pulled out the diamond power veto. Tells Josh that the veto meeting is just getting started. He said that he is going to be using the diamond power veto to save his closest ally, and he used the diamond power veto on D. So with the diamond power veto, you can take one nominee down off the block, and you get to name the replacement nominee instead of the HOH. So it is a big power, the monster power. D was taken out from the block, and Rick Devins nominated Kamu, who is the biggest target socially and competitive in the house. So it was a shocker, big crazy veto meeting. The house guests were floored. Devins had followed through on the plan he had been considering all week. After hearing Kamu admit that D was a target, Devins decided it was time to make his move, protecting D while placing one of the house's biggest strategic threats directly in danger. He said he was going to shake the house. The reaction was immediate. The house was completely shook. Players sat in disbelief as one of the biggest powers of the season completely changed the direction of Josh's head of household reign. In just a few moments, D went from being the HOH and Kamu's top target to being completely safe, while Kamu suddenly found himself fighting for survival. So the icons definitely shook up the house with this. With the Diamond Power veto ceremony complete, the 3 players will be heading into tonight, which was the BB Blockbuster. Haley, Angela, and Kame were the 3 nominees that were going to come to eviction night tonight and face off in the Blockbuster competition, with the winner moving on, taking herself off the chopping block, leaving 1 or 2 of the nominees to go to eviction. Who would be the 6th person evicted? We will get there. All right, so we're on part 8. The campaign begins. After Rick Devin flipped the game with the Diamond Power veto, the House had very little time before eviction night. Haley, Angela, and Kame heading to the BB Blockbuster strategic campaign immediately kicked into high gear. Kame fights to stay. Kame really put a social game into work on the feeds. If you didn't see it, also, he tried to shore up Drew, Taylor, Lala, Melody, and Mallory, who Mallory and Melody were very skeptical about Kame and keeping them, and they flipped back and forth the entire week on. But Kame definitely used the social game to try to do what he could to stay if he didn't win Blockbuster. So he spent a lot of the night campaigning alongside Yash. Yash was pushing really hard as well, because at the end of the day, he had power. He had all the power this week, in the HOH and the veto. But Rick Devin shook up the entire game by using the Diamond Power veto. So Yash did not want his number 1 ally going home on his HOH, which ultimately we'll see if that happens. Knowing his game was suddenly in jeopardy, Kame spent the rest of the night campaigning alongside Yash. The 2 worked the House relentlessly, preparing for the possibility that Kame, in case Kame would lose the BB Blockbuster. Their message was simple: keep Kame in the game, because he said he is coming after the icons. He wants the rookies to be the entire jury. So he don't want the icons in the jury. He's going to target the icons until he gets all 3 of them out. Also, Yash's pitch was to don't allow Devins' move to completely change the balance of power. They spoke with as many House guests as possible, not align with the icons, hoping to secure enough votes before eviction night. So I titled this a swing vote. As the campaign continued, 2 players found themselves in the middle of the decision. Talked about them earlier from the FAP Alliance, Mallory and Melody. I felt like they were kind of swinging back and forth this entire week. If Haley won the BB Blockbuster, leaving Kame and Angela on the block, both women were still undecided, making them the House's most important swing votes, along with Drew and Barrett. Every conversation mattered, and both sides fought to earn their trust. So we're going to go to tonight, the BB Blockbuster competition with Haley, Angela, and Kame. So the name of the competition was Space Race. Basically, you're sitting inside a gravity chamber, and there's 3 or 4 different color ball, a red ball, a blue ball, a yellow ball. I think it was those 3 colors. I don't know, it might have been 4. But there, you're sitting inside the gravity chamber, and all these different color balls are going everywhere. So to win this competition, you had to be able to. I mean, these balls are like over 100 miles an hour in there. It's crazy, flying everywhere. You have to place 10 red balls into 1 tube, and then on the other side, you have to catch them, and they're going over 100 miles an hour. So you have to place 10 red on one tube, and then 10 yellow on the other side. So going into this, Angela talked about that Tucker had told her to kneel down and cover the vent. She talked about that a lot on her feeds. We'll see if she's definitely the underdog. Haley's a D1 college athlete, and obviously Kame is an MMA fighter. So the ball's flying everywhere around him. The challenge became a frantic race against the clock. Every mistake could mean ending up on the block on live eviction night. The stakes couldn't have been higher. So we'll go to part 9. We'll see who wins the BB Blockbuster. It was very close. All 3 did really well. So ultimately, Angela, the biggest underdog, ended up winning the the BB time capsule. I mean, not the BB blockbuster space race. So I was definitely like I was rooting for her. Truthfully, I like to root for the underdogs, and I don't want to see the icons go home not yet because for me, I think the rest of the game would be pretty boring. So Angela wins the Big Brother blockbuster competition, which I couldn't believe she beat Kama and Haley. Um, Haley had like 2 balls left on the yellow, I believe. Kama had like 3 or 4, so it was really close. Angela did really well. She ended up getting the win, and she was happy. I mean, she was screaming everywhere. They talked about it on the feeds earlier. They could hear the crowd. The crowd went crazy when Angela won. Inside the gravity chamber, the commentators scrambled to control different color balls flying in every direction while racing to complete the objective. Placing 10 red balls into one tube and 10 yellow balls into another with so much chaos around. Keeping focus was just as important as moving quickly. But the BB Blockbuster winner is ultimately Angela. Angela rose to the occasion and won the space race, securing her safety for the week. All the housemates were shocked to hear that Angela won. They did not give them much time to go to the eviction vote, so the vote was going to be between Haley and Kamu. So Rick Devins' Diamond Power veto target is ultimately going to the eviction vote. Will it pay off? On her birthday week, Angela came through when it mattered the most, taking herself off the block, guaranteeing she would survive another round. So the final nominees are Haley and Kamu. The entire week now came down to a single eviction vote. Kama and Yash have spent the previous day campaigning hard, hoping to keep Kama in the game. If he ended up on the block at the same time, Rick Devins' dramatic Diamond Power veto move had completely changed the landscape of the vote. Alliances being tested and loyalties on the line, the House guests would cast their final vote to evict. Who will join Ashley, Rome, Lyric, Jason, and Chuck as the 6th person evicted from the Big Brother Season 28 house? Let's find out. So you could tell they were scrambling. They did not give them very long to vote. I seen Mallory whisper something to Taylor. Obviously, I believe Lala was the only one that was kept out of the loop on this vote. So Lala is first in the diary room. She cast her vote to evict Haley. So that's 1 vote for Haley, 0 vote for Kamu. Rick Devins is up next. He obviously used his power to get Kamu on the block. It's no surprise. Rick Devins voted to evict Kamu. So it's 1 vote to evict Haley, 1 vote to evict Kamu. Taylor is up next, which I thought for sure that Taylor was going to be voting out Haley. But it looks like Mallory told her when they sat down that Kamu don't have the votes, so that Taylor didn't end up on the wrong side of the vote. Taylor was very, very sad about her decision, but she ultimately evicted Kamu as well. So 2 votes to evict Kamu, 1 for Haley. Mallory's up next. Mallory was on the fence all week. Ultimately, she talked about this. They may not get another shot to get Kamu out. Mallory voted to evict Kamu, so 3 votes to evict Kamu, 1 for Haley. Melody up next. She followed suit and also evicted Kamu, so that's 4 votes Kamu, 1 for Haley. Drew up next. He voted to evict Kamu, so that is 5 votes. That is enough, as Kamu will be joining Ashley and Lyric and Ron and Jason and Chuck as the 6th person evicted from the Big Brother house. And Rick Devins' Diamond Power veto completely worked 100% with Kamu going home on Yash, his number 1 ally, HOH. So I will go through the rest of the votes. Barrett voted to evict Kamu. Angela voted to evict Kamu. And D, ultimately, obviously, no brainer here, voted to evict Kamu. So the final vote count and the 6th person evicted from the Big Brother house is Kamu by a vote of 8-1. Kamu became the 6th house guest evicted from Big Brother 28. Despite surviving the initial nomination and mounting a strong campaign to stay, Rick Devins' Diamond Power veto move ultimately changed the course of the week, sending Kamu out the door in one of definitely the season's biggest blindsides. So we'll move on to part number 10. Kamu is the 6th person voted out of the Big Brother house. Aftermath, power shift, and looking ahead. Part 10. With Kama evicted by an 8-1 vote, Week 6 came to a close after one of the wildest stretches of gameplay the season has seen. The biggest move of the season, the defining moment of Week 6, was unquestionably Rick Devens using the Diamond Power veto to remove D and put Kama on the block, and ultimately he is the one to go home tonight. After Josh chose not to use the power veto, Devin stunned the House by declaring that this meeting has only just begun. He then used the Diamond Power veto to save D and nominate Kama and completely rewrite the entire week. That one decision changed the final nominees, influenced the eviction vote, and reshaped the strategic landscape heading into Week 7. So I'm going to go through the biggest winners of the week. Kama is the 6th person evicted from the Big Brother house. For me, the biggest winner is Rick Devens. He protected his closest ally, D. Angela won the BB Blockbuster, so all 3 of the icons remain in the game. Devens made the season's boldest move and showed he was willing to take a risk, huge monster risk for his alliance. They swung and they did not miss. Yash, I have to put him in the biggest winner because he added to his resume. Yash added another impressive week to his resume by winning both the HOH and the Power Veto. He now owns victories and the HOH veto and the Blockbuster this season. Angela survived the week by winning the BB Blockbuster Space Race on her not on her birthday, but the day after, a couple days after her birthday, taking herself off the block when she needed it most. The biggest loser, unfortunately, it was the biggest threat in the game, Kama. It took the Diamond Power veto to get Kama on the block. I think I've seen this show before. It's like Jersey Shore. No, it's not like Jersey Shore. It's reality TV, though. So the biggest loser is Kama. After campaigning all week to make D the target, Kama instead became the replacement nominee. Following Devens' Diamond Power veto move, despite a strong effort to stay, Kama was ultimately evicted in an 8-1 vote, ending his game. So the BB Unlocked, the Week 6 discussion continues on BB Unlocked, featuring Danielle Reyes, who talked about talked about that she felt like Yash was playing the best game right now. She talked about the Survivor players playing in their territory. She also talked about Barrett. She said that Barrett reminded her a lot of Andy Herron, who won the last season that I just watched. I think it was Big Brother. I think it was season 15. So she will be on BB Unlocked this Sunday. So Week 7 immediately begins. I'm sure they're doing it by now. But the brand new HOH competition, the final BB Sunday's episode, we're going to see a brand new HOH competition. Who will get power? Who will they nominate? Final BB time capsule of the season. Who will be voted in by America? Will they get a power? Will they get a punishment? It will be the last BB time capsule of Big Brother season 28. We will see all 3 of the nominations. And then BB Unlocked episode on Sunday night. So full hour and a half coming up on Sunday. Also, the 1000th episode of Big Brother, where production teased a major new twist, will be Thursday. A lot of the former Big Brother winners and former players will be on the 1000th episode coming up Thursday. So join me. Make sure you join me for the Week 7 recap. After the dramatic power shift of the last 2 weeks, the next house competition could determine whether the icons can regain control or whether the new power structure continues to dominate the game. So what a crazy week, folks. We got it in under an hour. I do apologize for going over, or not starting an hour late, coming home from dinner. So I appreciate you guys. The 138 people that's tuning in. For me, this is the craziest week of the season. I was glued to the feed when I could watch them because I ultimately knew that Rick Devens was planning on using the Diamond Power veto. And for him to be able to, it's obviously going to depend who wins the HOH tonight, but for them to be able to get Kama out on Yash's HOH was undoubtedly the biggest move of the game. So the icons have even bigger target, but will the other side of the house, who I felt like just took the biggest hit he could take, will they be able to regain control of the power? We will find out Thursday on the Week 7 recap show. Ultimately, Comedy was evicted 8-1 and joins Ashley, Jason, Rome, Lyric, and Chuck as the sixth person evicted from Big Brother Season 28. So that is it, guys. That has been your Big Brother Season 28 Week 6 recap show. Make sure you join me next Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern for the Big Brother Season 28 Week 7 recap show. Who will win the HOH? Who will win the last BB time capsule? Will they get a power or will they get a punishment? Who will the three nominees be? Will any of the nominees win the Golden Power veto? Will a power be played? D's BB Bob is still in play since it was not taken up by Yash this week. Will Drew or Barrett or Taylor get the last power? Will it be played? Will any of the nominees win the power veto? Who will win the BB Blockbuster? And who will be the last two sitting on the eviction chairs next Thursday night on the 1000th episode? Will there be a twist? We will find out next Thursday night on the Big Brother Season 28 Week 7 recap show. Once again, thank you for coming in to the Big Brother Season 28 Week 6 recap show, Thursday, August 20th, 2026. If you are watching live on YouTube, please make sure you hit that like button. That helps me in the algorithm and in my stream. I'm live on my YouTube channel, live on my X page, and DWE Television on X. Make sure you hit that follow button to DWE Television and the DWE Media page on X, and everyone affiliated with DWE as well, starting with the CEO himself, Miami the Great. Catch him on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern with Inside the NFL Mind with Miami. Me and him will be back the first Tuesday in September for the EVP Miami NFL recap show, Season 2 of that. So you guys make sure to tune in to that every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, starting the first Tuesday in September. But in the meantime, on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern, make sure you join in to Inside the NFL Mind with Miami on DW Television, on X, Talk It Up Podcast on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for that. And also, every Saturday, this coming up Saturday, you can catch Miami the Great and Final Boss Baby with 2 B's on DW Radio. You can catch that live on DW Television, on X, on Talk It Up Podcast on YouTube, DW TV, and DW Television, on Twitch, and also on Spotify. This coming up Monday, make sure you follow The World of Greg. This coming up Monday, him and Kyle Man Anthony. Follow him on both of those guys on X as well. It will be bringing you the rundown 1 hour before Monday Night Raw. It's got an early start time this Monday. Make sure you tune in to them for the rundown. Speaking of Kyle Man Anthony, every Wednesday, which we just did last night, but join Kyle Man Anthony, the host, and myself every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern for the Queens of WWE. This coming up Wednesday will be episode 11 at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Follow Director Fred, also After the Slam Podcast, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Smoke Section Podcast and Sports Channel Network, and everyone affiliated with Gimmick Table Media. I will be back shortly to tell you guys where you can find me on my social media platform, and what I have coming up for you guys for the rest of this week.
Wrestling has more than one royal family.
There are a lot of podcasts out there, but only one with this kind of energy.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Predictions Sports. Let go, show recaps predictions sports
In one podcast.
Welcome to EVP Show Recaps Predictions Sports. Let go.
Once again, thank you for tuning in to the Big Brother Season 28 Week 6 recap show live here on the EVP show. Shout out to the 146 people that's watching live. As far as my social media platform, you can, it is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. All my links are in my bio. You can follow me on X and Instagram at EVPCJP on X. You can find my YouTube page pinned at the very top. Make sure you follow me there. On Instagram, it is a business account, but my YouTube is in my bio. You can also find all my upcoming videos from my upcoming stream. SmackDown stream for tomorrow is already on. The videos made by Miami are already on my Instagram page. So if you want to follow me and take a look at those videos, I post them the day before my upcoming streams. On TikTok, you can find me at Brady the Goat 21. That's at Brady BRADY Goat 21. Where you can see my YouTube is in my bio on TikTok as well, but you can see all my upcoming videos made by Miami the Great on TikTok as well. Last but not least, most importantly, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel as we are on the road to 400 subscribers. I believe last I looked, needed 78 more to get to 400. That is the goal of Survivor Series. So hopefully you guys can help me get there. If you are subscribed to my YouTube channel, turn the notification bell on, and you will be reminded of the daily wrestling content. If you cannot find my YouTube channel on any of my social media platforms, just go to the search bar and type in at the EVP Show. You'll see over 1,000 live videos, 500 plus YouTube shorts, and a couple of pre-recorded videos. So what I have coming up next for you guys, I will be live tomorrow night as CM Punk defends the Undisputed Championship in Canada against the Canadian, the hometown boy himself, Kevin Owens. Join me at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow night. We go over the Undisputed WWE Championship match and everything for SmackDown for the SmackDown recap show. And then Saturday, I will be off. I will be traveling. But catch me Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for Sunday Night Scoops with the EVP. And I'll go ahead and go over next week's schedule. Monday night, I'll be live at an earlier start time at 10 p.m. Eastern for the Raw recap show. And then we're on the road to NXT Heatwave. Join me Tuesday night for the Go Home show at 10:30 p.m. Eastern for the NXT recap show. And then Wednesday, as always, I have a huge panel coming in 6 p.m. Eastern Time Wednesday. Join me and 9 others for the NXT Heatwave prediction show. And then Thursday night, we will be back here again, same time, same place, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Big Brother Season 28 Week 7 recap show, which will be the 1,000th episode of Big Brother. Next Friday night, I'm back again at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the SmackDown recap show. Next Saturday, I'm off, and then join me next Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Will be no Sunday Night Scoop, but next Sunday, join me at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for the NXT Heatwave recap show. So that is my schedule for the rest of this week and next week. Make sure you guys turn that notification bell on and come join me for all of my daily wrestling content. That being said, guys, this has been the Big Brother Season 28 Week 6 recap show live here on the EVP show. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys have had a great week and have an awesome Friday. Tomorrow's the last day of the work week. And come back tomorrow night and join me at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the SmackDown recap show. I am the EVP from the EVP show and the golden boy of GWE. And GWE is the only place to be. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday night. Come back tomorrow night and join me at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time once again for the SmackDown recap show. Good night and have a happy Friday. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time again for the SmackDown recap show. Good night, everyone.